Hi guys, welcome to another edition of Mego Talk. So today I'm going to mostly focus on some of the new Megos that have come out. I believe it was 2017 that Mego relaunched and had the first wave of figures, and now here we are in 2021 or 2021, and we're on like wave 12, I believe. So I will say that in the beginning, the first maybe couple waves, I wasn't that impressed. I did get a couple because I'm a huge Mego fan and I have a decent size, maybe about 45 of the vintage Megos total. And so I really wanted to support that, but I wasn't happy, so I didn't buy a lot because I didn't like the face looks and some of the quality wasn't there. However, they've gotten better over the last few years, and I've gotten sort of back into it this year. And so I want to show you some of the ones I've recently got, which is actually all of these, and also compare the Planet of the Apes to the other ones briefly. So let's get started. So first of all, let's look at Cornelius. Now here is the original vintage Cornelius, and he is a little wobbly. I just recently learned how to restring this or these, and I did, but I didn't get it quite tight enough. But it's still a lot better than it was. I mean, it used to be extremely wobbly, and now it's not. But the face on these new ones look pretty much very, I mean, I would say almost identical to the old faces. Let me see if I can get that where you can see it better. So that's the old one. Now here's the new one. And as I said, the faces are very similar, if not identical. I think there's some slight differences. I mean, the hair, if you look, the hair is different in the front. This one has more of a point in the front of his hairline. So, but they look very similar, as I said, just not identical the more I look at them. And then the clothing is, this one is much greener, and this one is a little bit greenish brown or tan. The fur on the cuffs is different. It's a different color. This one is kind of furrier. And then also the part here that's kind of the pleather, supposed to be leather looking one, that's different too. This one has the lines coming down from the neck. This one does not. And then they both have a symbol on the bottom. As far as the back, I mean, obviously this was metal snaps. This one is Velcro, and it actually fits better in a way. I mean, let me fix that. It looks more finished, looks more closed. The shoes are a little bit different. Here's the shoes on this one, which, by the way, these are replacement. I just put some shoes I didn't have. Originally, when I got him, he was in some little boots, which I kept for someone else, but I just had to put him in these little brown shoes to be closer to what he was supposed to be wearing. Now, let's take a look at this second one. That's the new, brand new this year, Wave 12, I believe it is. I really like it. It's a lot, it feels a lot more sturdy, and also it weighs more. There's more heft to it, so to speak. And I think that's good for long term. It's just a lot more well put together, I think, especially compared to a 40-year-old or almost 40-year-old figure. So, and I don't know when exactly I got that one. These are not my originals, but I got them later on eBay. Now, I do have one issue with this Cornelius, and that is the way the body is moving. So a lot of times it turns like this. I don't know if you saw that earlier. Just like that. Now I have to keep putting it back. And somebody told me that that's because the bands inside are too tight. And it's kind of making it do those kind of weird things. So he always looks off center. And some people I've seen or heard on the Mego groups on Facebook, like Mego Mania and some of the others, they are restringing these already, and I think that, you shouldn't have to do that on a brand new figure, obviously, but they want them to not do strange things like that, so that's what they're doing, and that's fine. I just don't know that I'm going to do that for a brand new figure. Like I said, I did it for this one because he needed it after 35, 40 years. But this one, no. Okay. So let's move on to Dr. Zaius. So here is the original Dr. Zaius. And again, I restrung him. He's much better. He's not as wobbly, but he could have been a little bit tighter. He's actually better than Cornelius, but his arms are kind of bowed out a little bit. Maybe I did that part too tight. Again, these were my first. I did 3 of them. I did these 2 in Captain America, and he's up top on a shelf. That's why it's probably not perfect, because they were my first time ever doing it using. By the way, there's several really good videos online, and I appreciate you guys who did them. Like Joseph did one. I don't know his last name. And I think there's one called Toy Polloi. So those were really good. Toy Polloi goes a little fast, so you got to pause it every now and then. But it's really good information. So yeah, this is what he looks like. Now let's compare him to the new one. Obviously, the first thing to me that stood out was face color and hair color are different. So you see the 2 hair colors. This is more orange. I'm not sure. To me, neither of them should have been orange, but they are. So this is a replica of this one, or close to it. Sort of a reimagining, maybe. I like the face color better on the newer one. This one's a little pale, I think. And then the hands, I forgot to mention that on Cornelius, but the hands are also the same color as the hair. Now that, I don't know if I would have done that. I think these hands are fine. I mean, either way, they don't have fur on them like they would have in the movie, or they did. I like the jacket, and it looks very, very similar. I don't see many differences other than the fur is a little bit different color on the cuffs. The boots, somebody mentioned in one video, and it's such a good point, is these boots are great rubbery kind of boots. They're not going to be as prone to cracking or something like that. So yeah, these are great boots. These are much more cheap or hollow or whatever you want to call it. Other than that, I think, they did a really good job. I'm so happy for Mego to now be doing really good figures that, although you're never going to get perfect, they're so much better than the early ones they started with a few years back. And then I just wanted to mention before I move away from Planet of the Apes that they go really well with this tailor that I've had for some years, few years. I think this was from NECA or Nika. I'm not sure how that's pronounced. But anyway, I'm pretty sure that's who made this. I don't have it handy. Does anybody know, does this easily come off? I was trying to unsnap it for some pictures, and it didn't seem to want to unhook or whatever. Not snap, but hook. So let me know if you know, because it's really heavy, and it makes him kind of, go forward or backward. Mostly forward, I think, on the top half. And then now I want to show you some other figures that I got, because I'm so impressed with this line right now of Mego figures. And first of all, I've had for several years the Mego figures they did. Let me start with those. This is from, I think, like 2 years ago, or no, actually 2018. This Frankenstein, and they've had several versions of Frankenstein. So I did like this. I got these. These were some of the better ones, I think, back then. Says classic 8-inch figure, obviously, Migos. And it's so nice to have the packaging, but I think they could have done a better job. Why would you not put on the back of these packages what else is available, like they've done in the past on some things? But to me, that always makes sense to put, like, Dracula, Wolfman, whoever else on here that was available at the time. And if this is part of a set, like, the Bradys, well, you've got, let's say this was Greg Brady, but you got Marsha and Alice on the back. They were available already, so why not? So anyway, I like this one a lot, and of course they were numbered back then. I don't believe they're doing the numbering anymore, but they had the numbers. That to me was a bit of a gimmick, but I don't know that it makes a big difference, and even in value later, but maybe if you got number 1, it would. So anyway, it does say collect them all. Of course, it shows Marty Abrams and pictures him and talks a little bit about Mego. I'm hoping that some younger people get into these as well as the older folks or middle-aged folks like us who have been into these for years. And it's such a strong community and commitment to Mego, from what I see, and I've loved Mego since the 70s. Here's that Dracula I was mentioning. It's a Bela Lugosi Enterprise, it says at the top. It's obviously got his picture here. This one, by the way, for Frankenstein, I honestly am not sure who that is in that picture. Does anybody know who that is? It's probably, well, I don't want to say because I don't know. But anyway, they did a really good job on the packaging, but again, just maybe have two up here of the other ones or something. I like what they did, though. And, the figures seem to be good. I assume, and if somebody has opened these, I'm not planning on opening those. If somebody has opened them, are they as sturdy as the Planet of the Apes would be my question. And here's the third one in that group that I had since when I bought these together about the same time. Is the Wolfman, which is the face of the screaming werewolf one. Again, they've got a picture from the movie and another one back here. Let me see if it says... What was the other film Face of the Screaming Werewolf is derived from? And the answer is La Casa del Terror. Okay, so, by the way, these all have 14 points of articulation. And let me show you on my Twisty... See, here's what I meant. Twisty Cornelius. And I assume that's because of the bands inside. Of course, the hands are movable. The elbows, the arms... Got to be careful of the sockets. Of course, the waist, the head moves all the way around. And then the knees, feet, ankles, I mean. So, there's all kinds of articulation on these. I forgot to mention that earlier. Back to the Wolfman for just a second. I like his clothing in this. I know there were two at the time, and I like this one's clothing better. And also, his face is pretty good, I thought. I thought that looked pretty good. There's a new Wolfman out right now, which is from... Actually, it's not Wolfman, but the Teen Wolf one. So I don't know. I don't think I'm going to get that. It's kind of kitschy looking. And then one more I want to show you for today. Actually, I think there's going to be two more. So this is a creature from the Black Lagoon. I just got this when I got those apes last week. And by the way, I wanted to mention... Kokomo Toys. I don't know if you guys can see this bag. Let me lift it up. Here's the bag from Kokomo Toys. I've got some other stuff in there right now, but if you ever... Kokomo Toys and Collectibles in Kokomo, Indiana, which is about an hour from me. I went there last weekend on Saturday. It is one of the greatest vintage toy stores around, and probably the most organized I've ever been in. And the selection is great. You can also check out Kokomo Toys and Collectibles on eBay and on YouTube. But they are so worth a trip if you're ever in central Indiana. Honestly, I don't think there's a huge amount of stuff to do or see in Kokomo. But I would recommend Kokomo Toys and Collectibles by a huge amount. And also a place called Vendor City, which is like a flea market. Right along 31. But these figures, the two Apes figures and this one, were $15 each, which I thought was a really good deal. Of course, if you can find them in Meijer, they're $12.99. But I don't know if Meier's going to carry the Apes ones, and I didn't want to wait. If they do, I'm going to get another set to keep in the package, since I took those out. But this creature from the Black Lagoon is so well done, I think, and it just looks excellent. I mean, look at that face. It's really... a lot like the movie, which is picture is right here. Or the look in the movie, I mean. And then the feet were impressive too. I mean, first of all, they're huge. But second, I mean, what must have taken to mold those or put them in a mold, I don't know. But anyway, it's a cool figure. And I do love that picture on the back. I'm not really that familiar with this movie. I think I have seen it, but it's been a long time. But I just like the figure. And then lastly for today... I'm going to show you one other horror character, which is Chucky. I got this one, and I did get this one at Meijer, $12.99. And I don't know. I keep going back and forth on him, and whether I may sell this one. I don't know. We'll see. If it's one that I want to live with for a while, I just don't know. I like those movies, the Chucky movies, but... yeah, I don't know so much about this. I'm more into the superheroes and the horror figures and some Star Trek. I mean, my vintage Megos are a little bit everything from Planet of the Apes to Wizard of Oz to, like I said, superheroes. By the way, I love this shirt. And then Green Arrow is, of course, in there too. The shirt is part of that. And then, who am I forgetting? Walton, Starsky and Hutch, on and on and on. You guys know, Star Trek. So yeah, and actually there is one other figure I want to show you. This one I got from Walmart, Invisible Man, and I heard someone say something online. I like what they did with this. Here's the picture on the back, which is cool. It's a drawing. And somebody said, obviously when he's invisible, he's got bandages wrapped around his head. And there are no bandages on that head. So I do think that's a missed opportunity. I don't know how they could have exactly done that, but just probably instead of putting the face there, they could have just textured lines in the mold somehow. I don't know how all that works, but I do think that would have been much more accurate. But in the meantime, I like this figure. I mean, to have a quote-unquote invisible, and look at the hands. I mean, they're clear. So I think that's really cool. The suit looks nice on him. So overall, I'm just so happy with what Mattel is, sorry, not Mattel, Mego is doing right now. And these figures are amazing. And I'm looking at several more online. I, of course, keep up with the groups, Facebook groups selling. But some of the ones I definitely want to get are some of the other Star Treks, like Picard, Data. I don't have those yet. Locutus, Q. What else am I thinking about? I'm not really into the 14-inch so far. I got one Batgirl, and I wasn't happy because, I didn't realize that head was one piece, and you can't remove the cowl or whatever helmet type thing. So anyway, I am not crazy about them so much so far. So we'll see. But in the meantime, I hope you've enjoyed this Mego video. Just I'm excited about all these figures, and especially the Planet of the Apes. And the next video I do about Mego, I'm going to go over the new superheroes. I got the Flash also up at Kokomo Toys. And what else? At Meyer, I had gotten the Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. So we'll go over all that on the next video. So I'll talk to you then. Take care.